Have you ever had something that totally exceeded your expectations? Well, for us, that was the Kennedy Space Center. I was expecting, a museum and some rockets. You can't see the whole thing in a day. It was fantastic. Come along with us. First thing we went to was the Rocket Garden. And these are the first rockets that took Americans into space, and they were tiny. They were on top of these little rockets in little capsules like Spam in a can. And I just can't even imagine the courage it took to go up in these little rockets. They just lit them up and away it went. This was a Titan rocket, which launched the Gemini capsule, which was tiny. People stayed in there for like a couple weeks. Unbelievable. Here's the Saturn 1B rocket, which launched the Apollo capsule into Earth orbit. And here's just one of the 5 engines at the base of the Saturn V. Absolutely humongous. And here we have the tiny Jupiter C rocket, which America put into space in 1958, chasing after the Russians who beat us into orbit. Woody Spring, the astronaut, showed up, and he was so folksy and so fun. An experienced astronaut told us what real life was like up there in space. And here we have the gigantic, ginormous vehicle assembly building, which is one of the biggest buildings in the world. It's where they stack the rockets up to bring them out to the launch pad. Here's the Saturn V, all 5 of the big rockets here at the booster. And here we have the command and service module for the Apollo spacecraft. Look at the length of this thing. These things went up into the air, one Apollo after another. Fantastic stuff. And here's some more of the Saturn V. This is the 3rd stage, and that's the 2nd stage there. And that is the Lunar Module, the part that actually landed upon the moon. This is the command module, which is the only part of the Saturn V that comes back after its trip to the moon. And this is the fairing that holds the Lunar Module, which goes all the way down to the moon surface itself with 2 astronauts. All of the astronauts. I'm also going to touch the moon.
And for those of you that believe that this was all fake because the flag waved, well, if you watch the video, the flag never did wave.
And here you have the interior of the Lunar Module. This is where the 2 astronauts stood when they were looking out the window and actually piloting the ship down to land on the moon. Here we are in the Grandstands where people watch the launches of all the rockets. And in the far distance, you can see all the launch towers, 39A, 39B, and so on. We're about 3.5, 4 miles away from the launch site because if they blow up, you don't want to be anywhere near it. There's also a bunch of alligators behind me, and I hope they don't jump out of the water. And here you have the fuel tank and the boosters for the space shuttle. You have the massive cargo bay from the space shuttle. You could put a school bus in there. And here you have the 3 main space shuttle engines that actually gimbal so you can steer the machine.